Hello and welcome. This is Christina Hills with the Website Creation Workshop, and welcome to this free training call on the simple truth about succeeding online. And I'm going to be talking about all the things you need to set yourself up for massive success online. Well, first off, let me just tell you, who am I? My name is Christina Hills, and I teach a program called the Website Creation Workshop. And that's a program to help entrepreneurs who are not techie types build their websites themselves. But before I was an online teacher and trainer, I was in the Hollywood special effects industry. I was a visual effects artist. I worked on films such as Star Wars, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and Jurassic Park. And this is a screenshot from my IMDb page, because you can rent any of these movies and you'll see my name listed in the credits. And it was really a great career. This is from E.T., the re-release. This is from Jurassic Park 2. And the most famous film I worked on was Star Wars. So as I said, for more than 10 years, I've taught over 2,700 coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, healers, and business owners how to quickly and easily create a website in WordPress. And my passion and gift is teaching technology and making it easy. And part of why I left my career as a special effects artist was because I wanted to live the entrepreneurial lifestyle and be able to be home with my daughter. But before I knew how to use WordPress, early on, I hired an outsourcing agency to build some websites. And at that point, I didn't know WordPress. My business was the Shopping Cart Queen. And here's what happened. They built me some sites, and then they built something I didn't ask for. Can you guess what it is? My webmaster built his own porn site inside my hosting account. And I'm really embarrassed to tell this story, that this had happened to me, and I was appalled, and I fired that webmaster, that company, that outsourcing agency. So no more depending upon these guys, right? So when you rely on techs to do everything for you, you either get the slickster guy who's not available and is always out and about, or you get the tech nerd who doesn't get your vision, doesn't understand you. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating. There are some lovely tech folks, but you know, this is the stereotype, and it often happens that way. So let's talk about you, right? This call is about you. It's not about hiring out to other people. It's about you being in charge of your online business. So this is you, and you're pretty smart. And what you want is a big picture of building an online business. You know, the strange thing about the internet is the internet is ephemeral. Like, you can't really touch it. You turn on your computer and there you see it, and then you turn off your computer and it's gone. So I like to give my students and clients a big picture of what this all looks like. So here's here's the online world. There's your website, and then there's all these social media sites, and there's others besides these. But this is where folks are online and where they are hanging out, right? And your goal is to interact with people on these other platforms, but lead them back to your site, right? So really, your website is at the center of your universe. And to market your site online, You'll go to social media to put links to your site. You'll go to networking groups and conferences and meet people, give out your business card, have them come to your site. And then you'll send emails to folks with your link at the bottom, sending people to your site. And here's a little tip. You should, at the bottom of all your emails, whether you're emailing your aunt or a prospective client or whomever, you should always have a link in your signature at the bottom of your personal emails to your website. All right, so this is kind of the layout of the world, very simplified, leading people to your site. Then once on your site, people will either go to the your shopping cart, however you've got that set up, and we'll be talking more about that. Maybe your website is to get folks to come, with their feet to your actual location. Or maybe the goal of your website is to get people to call you. So here you're sending people to your site, and then from your website, you're encouraging people to take an action to connect with you more. All right, so let's talk more about your website. So your website is your home. And here's a couple of hosting companies. It is your home. And your home has an address. That's your domain name. And your domain name connects to your hosting company. And I'm going to be teaching a call specifically on WordPress, and that's going to be in, I think, a couple of weeks. So you're going to want to watch your email for that. And I'm going to go more into depth about WordPress on that other call. But again, the lay of the land, when you're building an online business, you are downloading things from the cloud to your computer, and you are uploading from your computer to the cloud. So you're doing downloading and uploading, and that's how you build an online business. And here is a screenshot from my website, which is the Website Creation Workshop. And then one of the tabs on my site is my blog. So that probably looks familiar to you. I just want to pause. I don't have a poll. Just type in the chat box. Have you ever been to my blog? Have you ever been to my blog? Just type yes or no, or I'm not sure. And it's okay if you've never been to my blog. All right, well, I've got some cool stuff, and you can find it up at the top tab. And I'll include a link to my blog later when I follow up. All right, so this is my home page. On this tab is blog. You'll see my blog, and this changes as my articles change. ChristinaHills.com is my portal site. It basically leads folks to the other websites that I have. All right, so talking about websites, I'm going to take this poll. Do you have a website? Do you have a website? Yes, and it's in WordPress. Yes, but it's not in WordPress. Yes, but I'm not sure what it is. Or no, I don't have a site yet. And if you can just click on the screen, that will give me an idea of who's here. And so if you just joined us, just click on the screen. I'm taking a little poll. And Betty says, yes, it is in WordPress. All right. Donna says, yes, because you helped me design and build it, and I love my website. Yay, Donna. All right. I'm going to close the poll and share the results. So a third of you do, 20% don't, and 4% are not sure, and 43% don't have a site yet. So those of you who don't have a site or have a site that you don't know how to be in control of, I'm going to be teaching a WordPress training in a couple of weeks. So you're going to want to make sure that you come to that. All right, let's come back to, let's talk more about building your online business. So today's call is really staying big picture, and then my next free training is going to go deeper into the website part of it. So let's come back to this picture, my diagram of, your online world. And I want to focus specifically on this part. This is the email marketing. And before I talked about, when you're personally sending an email, but now I want to talk about building an email list, and then I'll be talking about selling from your website. So let's first focus on building an email list. And you'll see there are arrows going in both directions. So one is from your website to get people to sign up to your email list. And then once you're sending email broadcasts out, or you're sending automated emails out, then those emails are sending people back to your website. So people kind of go back and forth. All right, so you want to build an email list to create a loyal following. So people who know, like, and trust you, like to be in touch with you, and attracting your perfect client or customer. So I'm going to go over this simple diagram of how people get on your email list. So for example, they come to your site and they see the free opt-in box. They enter their name and their email and they click submit, and then they get to an opt-in thank you page. At the same time, the prospect, their name and email, goes into your shopping cart database, email marketing database, whichever. And then, right, they go into your system. Then the system looks up, the email marketing system looks up, how many emails or which emails should I send back to the prospect. All right, so here's an example of a sidebar on my blog. And you can opt in on a sidebar, or you could have a standalone page. It doesn't really matter. You can notice you can reuse the same opt-in offer in different places. So when somebody opts in, then they get to the thank you download page, right? So that's the page that says go here to get the PDF. And either it sends them straight there, or it might say go check your email to confirm. Either way works. And on my download for this PDF, you get a PDF and a video. At the same time, remember that diagram, a sample email message goes out to them. So the email then gives them the same thing that they would have gotten on the download page. And if you're thinking, well, why are you duplicating that? People could have walked away from their computer, or maybe they missed it or closed their browser by accident. And then this way, they have it in their email and they're now reading emails from you. So this is the basic overview of the opt-in process. And let me show you just another example of, here's a single opt-in page, and there's a button you click to download, and then up will pop up name and an email. This is just another style, and then a PDF download thank you page. And this is a PDF I will be sending to you in a couple of weeks. It's a do-it-yourself website creation checklist. So coming back to you, so what is your opt-in goodie format? right? When you're thinking about building an online business and building an email list, you want to have something they're going to opt into. And there's two parts to it. And I think the easier one to start with is, what is the format that you're going to deliver? Are you going to make a video? Are you going to give them maybe diagrams or mind maps? Are you going to give them an audio, a checklist, like a PDF guide, maybe some resources, a consultation, free consultation, or tools or software? So you want to think about the format, and then you want to think about what the content is. What is it they're going to get? Now, before this call, I was thinking about, well, what would be examples? And it's pretty hard to come up with, because a essential oils consultant would be coming up with a different kind of opt-in goodie than a business coach. So you might want to think about or ask your current clients, what would be something that they would want? Your clients are going to know best. You know, what would be something that's really enticing to get people to opt in for? And if you can't think of anything and you are a consultant, a free 15-minute discovery session is a great thing to have people opt in for. So it's a great thing. Checklists. So everybody's going to be a little different. For some people, phone consultation's easy. Other people, making a video is easier. Other people, creating a checklist is easier. You know, if you're you know, a realtor, you might be thinking of, you know, 10 things to look for when searching for neighborhoods. Or as a coach, you know, what you need to know before hiring a life coach or a business coach. So when thinking about your opt-in goodie, you need to decide what's going to be the content and how am I going to deliver that. So there's content versus format. So that's what you need to think about. And when it comes to emailing your list, here's my quote: in order to email your list, you have to email your list. And that sounds kind of funny, but if you want to build an email marketing relationship, people have to be accustomed to getting emails from you. And if you've been on my email list for a while, you know I send a lot of emails. But I really try my best to have the subject line let you know what it is, so you'll know if it's interesting to you. But when you're getting started, you might be emailing your list maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks. I wouldn't go too much beyond every 2 weeks or once a month. But once a week is a pretty good pace. But look, don't worry about it. If you're new at it, just get going. And here's what I do to keep track of my emails. I have a Google Calendar, and you can see in green when I'm sending the emails out for this particular month. You know, and some days I sent 2, some days I didn't send any, some days I sent 1. So everybody's going to have a different method of keeping track. And when you're new, you might just be sending 1 a week or 1 every couple of weeks. But as your business grows and builds, you'll probably be emailing folks more. So that was the overview of the email marketing part. Now I want to move on to the selling online, selling your products or services from your website. So let me take another poll here. Do you currently sell online? Yes, on my own website. Yes, but on a third-party website, no, not yet, or no, I don't even want to sell online. And that's okay if you don't. And a third-party website would be like if you were a distributor and you were selling through maybe an MLM or something. it actually goes through their site. And people who might not want to sell online would be like authors who are just promoting their speaking and their books. Although actually for authors, you might want to put links to Amazon. All right, I'm going to close this poll and share the results. So 17% are already selling online. Awesome. 11% through a third party. 65% not yet, and 7% don't want to sell online. So that is totally fine. And you know, it can always change. Maybe now you're not selling online, but you want to shortly. All right, let me talk about the single product sales process. So what does that mean? That means when you're selling online, you're selling sort of one thing. So maybe you want someone to buy a coaching package, and they're really, even though it's a package of coaching calls, you're selling one thing. Or you're selling an event, you're having a weekend event, or maybe you're selling an online course, or maybe you're selling an ebook. So here is the process, and it's pretty similar to the email marketing. And I'll go more into depth in this in a bit, but people come to your site, they see a button to buy, they click buy now, they go straight to the shopping cart where they put their credit card info in, and then they get to the post-purchase thank you page. So for example, I have a course called the Graphics Creation Workshop, and this is the website registration page. And when you scroll to the bottom, there's a button to buy that course, which then takes you to an order form where you enter your credit card details. And then after that, it takes you to the thank you page, which is my members area. So that gets you straight into my members area, which has all the trainings and coaching calls for that course and resources for people in that program. Here's another example from womenswisdom.net. It's a women's networking group, and she has memberships. So she's selling her memberships from her site, and she's doing it through PayPal. So she's got PayPal connected. And let me just pause here and say, everybody should have PayPal. And I don't have a poll for this, but just type in the chat. Do you have a PayPal account? Do you have PayPal? Are you able to do business on PayPal? PayPal is free, so everybody should have a PayPal account. So there's different types of PayPal accounts. There are personal, when you're just buying stuff, but then there is the Premier or business account. And the Premier or business account will let you accept credit cards or debit cards so that somebody can pay you. So you want, and they have free versions of these. So I have a Premier account, and it is free. So if you want to receive payments from other people via credit card or debit cards, you'll want a Premier or a business account. If you're just buying stuff, if you don't want to sell online, you can have a personal account. Now, for those of you who don't have a PayPal account, once you get a PayPal account, you can get your PayPal.me name. And you know, this might work with the free accounts too. I'm not positive. But if you go to paypal.me/Christina Hills, that will take you to my paypal.me account, and then people can pay you whatever money they owe you. And it has this cool thing that PayPal does. If you add / and the dollar amount, when the person goes there, it'll have the dollar amount filled in. So this is great for folks who are maybe you're a coach or a phone consultant, and you can easily send people an email and say, you know, go ahead and pay for, you know, your coaching session or whatever. So this is free. It's easy to get. I believe you have to have a PayPal account first, but then you get to claim your name, right? So there's only one, paypal.me/Christina Hills. So this could be your business name or your name. And since I have different programs, I picked my name. So that's something you're going to want to get, but you want to wait till after this training to go and do that. So PayPal is a way to accept payments. Another method, and there are lots of methods, somebody had mentioned in the chat that they had Square. Stripe is another payment processor, and it is pay as you go, no setup, monthly, or hidden fees, and you only pay for what you use, which is really great. So there's not a monthly fee. If you get, you'll have to check on the business account, but the Premier account doesn't have a monthly fee. So that's another way. This is the payment processor. They actually take the money. So looking at this diagram, back to how a product is sold online, I'm giving you these steps. You have a website, your website, hopefully it's WordPress, and somebody finds your product or program for sale. They click Buy Now. They get to some kind of order form. So some kind of way they can securely enter their credit card info, and then that then leads them to the thank you page. So when this happens, the money then goes into the merchant account, Stripe, or PayPal, right? The payment processor, that's where the money's going to be processed to then wind up in your bank. And then their info goes into some kind of database, some kind of customer shopping cart database. And then that looks up and sends them an email receipt and any kind of follow-up. So let me show you this process. Here's the sales letter page. They get to the bottom of the sales letter, and here is, they pick a payment plan. They pick the payment plan they want. Now they get to an online order form where they enter their credit card info secure. You need to make sure it's entered in a secure way. And then they get to the thank you page, which is inside my members area. So once they get into the members area, then they get all the training and the schedule and the information for my website creation workshop course. So that was a walkthrough of this part, right? Coming to the site, order form, thank you page, then money going to the merchant account and going into the database. So just like an email opt-in, you want to think about what product do you want to create. And you want to choose your product or program format, right? Choose your product or program format. So these are ways you're going to deliver, just like your email opt-in. These are ways you're going to deliver what you're selling them if you're selling them something digital. And you can be selling physical products as well. So, you know, videos, PDFs, audios, checklists, diagrams, digital downloads, community forums, live webinars, teleseminars, software tools, in-person seminars, and then, you know, phone calls. So you might be selling your phone consulting. So as I said, just like an opt-in goodie, what need would the potential customer or client have? And you want to create your program based on that. So just like the opt-in, so the opt-in is like a teaser for your actual paid programs. So what are the things you need to sell directly online? So you need a website. You need some kind of product or program that you're going to sell them. You need a payment processor. That could be a merchant account like Authorize.net as an example. PayPal, Stripe I talked about. But, you know, and you might want to write these down, this list I'm about to give you. So the payment processor, how is the money going to come in? A shopping cart system, that would be like your database that would sort of have all your customer information. Then an email system to communicate out to them. A fulfillment house, that's if you're selling physical products. And early on in the days, we were doing it ourselves. We'd sit around the dining room table. My husband was selling CDs. This is before I started my business. And we'd sit around the dining room table and we'd package up and go to the post office and mail stuff out. I recommend having a fulfillment house do that because it's not very expensive. Or if you're not shipping physical goods, you want a method to deliver your digital products. So a membership site, WordPress. If what you're delivering is your in-person or your phone consulting, then you actually don't need this part. So here is the here's the a bigger visual, right? So your website is where they come and they see what they want to buy, and then they get to the shopping cart order form, whatever kind of shopping cart system you're using. Then the thank you page could be a membership site or could be something physical, you know, thank you, we'll be shipping you your product. Money goes into the merchant account. It goes to Visa, gets processed through, or PayPal or Stripe, and then their info's in the database, and then an email receipt, and any kind of follow-up goes out to the customer. So this is how you sell your own products. But I want to tell you, if you're new, you don't have to sell your products. You can sell other people's products. So you can become an affiliate and on your site list other people's products. So I make web hosting recommendations and I get a tiny commission from these companies when people buy. Or an Amazon Associates program. You can join for free. You can get an Amazon Associates account, and it's connected to your normal Amazon. You sign up, and I don't know what all the rules are, but then you can put Amazon products on your site, and when people buy, you make a small commission. Now, if you go this route, you're going to need to have a lot of sales in order for, to make a hefty living. Anyway, why not? It's free and you can make some money that way. So here's an example from one of my students, and it's a little bit of an older screenshot, but she's got books she's recommending. So she's a wedding planner and she's got a list of books that she thinks are good for brides-to-be. So any kind of coach or consultant can have books that they recommend. You can have that listed on your site. So once you have an email list and a product you're selling, you can create a simple marketing funnel. So let me show you this simple marketing funnel. People come to your site, they don't know you yet, they opt in to buy, they get emails following up, leading back to the site, and when the time is right and the product is right, the prospect will get engaged, see what you have to offer, buy, and then you now have a customer. So this is a very simple email marketing funnel. And this is really the overview of having an online business. You know, attracting people through social media, networking and giving out business cards, getting your email marketing set up so that when folks come to your site, the next action is they call you, they see you in person, or they buy your programs. And having an online business allows you to make money while you're playing. My husband and daughter and I love to go to Disneyland. So that's a picture of us. And it gives me more time for family. So I love to spend time with my daughter Maggie, and I love to donate my time and my money to the nonprofit she's involved with. And she's a theater kid, that's her here. And by having an online business, I have a very flexible schedule. And I can spend time on other creative projects. So one of the things we like to do is we like to make spoof videos, and that's my husband dressed as the wolf, my daughter as Little Red. We have a Little Red Riding Hood video series. We also did an Alice in Wonderland series, and here is a couple of shots from our Alice in Wonderland series, and this is her and I as Little Red Riding Hood, and I'm her mom. Watch your email. I think I'm going to be sending that out in the next few weeks. Hey, I think you lost me there for a second. Joanna, can you hear me?
Yes, I was about ready to jump on and ask if everything was okay.
Yeah. So hold on. Why don't you repeat how people can ask questions? Because we're going to get ready to go to questions, but I'm going to mention my next training event.
Okay, so if you have a question about anything Christina covered today, if you look in your GoToWebinar control panel, if it's minimized, just click on that little orange arrow. It's probably on the right side of your screen, and that panel will open up. And then just go to the chat box and type in any questions that you have.
Okay, so before we get to questions, because I know people are going to have a lot of questions that they want to ask about what I covered today, I want you to just note on your calendar the next training class I'm going to do. It will be on WordPress and how you can easily create a beautiful website in WordPress. There are 2 different dates, so that's the link you'll want to go to. Joanna, maybe you could put that in the chat. And so that'll be in a couple of weeks. And also on the 16th of January, we'll be opening up the winter website creation workshop program. So you're going to want to watch your email for that. So this presentation has been on the simple truth about succeeding online. And I do want to let you know, watch your email, because I have a PDF resource guide that goes along with today's training. So you're going to want to watch your email to get that. All right, so here is the screenshot for those of you who came late on how to ask a question. And I am ready to go to questions now.
Okay, great. We have some great questions that have come in. When you were talking about email marketing, Willow had this question. What about people feeling overwhelmed by the number of emails they receive? How do you stay in contact yet not add to stress of being overwhelmed?
Well, if you're, that's a great question. So first of all, I'm on lots of email lists, and if I don't want to read the email, I don't read it. But if your emails are good and you're providing value, people are going to look forward to getting those emails. So yes, it is a balance of not sending too much. If I recommend to email your list once you build a list, at least once a week. That's what I recommend. But you start wherever you can start. But if your emails are good and relevant, and your market and you're emailing to people who are interested in your products or services that you provide, they'll want to open those emails.
Okay. And Summer was asking in several examples during the presentation, you, oh, just a second, the question went away. Okay, so you mentioned having a members area, and Summer was asking if you use WordPress, a member, or something else.
I use WordPress for all my online courses. I use WordPress as my members area.
Okay. And Jim had asked, you mentioned including a link on your personal email. How might you manage that with multiple and diverse lines of business?
All right. So, so I hope everybody understands what a signature signature is at the bottom of an email. So if you have multiple websites, multiple businesses, maybe you might have one umbrella site, or maybe you list them all, or maybe when you're replying to emails, you might have a different drop down for different signatures. So that's going to be pretty personal for each person.
Okay. And we had a question here on how do you feel about buying targeted opt-in email lists?
I would never buy an email list. That is a recipe for disaster. It's going to be expensive if you buy a list. They may be bogus names. You don't know where the list came from. I have never bought an email list, and none of my colleagues have ever bought an email list. So I would stay away from doing that. I've never heard of it being legit, and maybe it is, but none of my friends and colleagues ever do that. Now they might buy traffic, but they don't buy email lists.
Okay. Sonia says that she is excited to sign up for your class to create her website. And Linda was asking if you could show the slide with the marketing funnel again.
Yes. All right. Let me get out yes, from current slide. Okay. Did she have a question about that?
It doesn't look like it. She just wanted to be able to look at that again.
Okay. So let me just make a comment about that before we go on to other questions. There are different kinds of marketing funnels. This is a very simple one. So, when somebody comes to your site, they opt in. The thank you page may or may not be something for them to buy. So sometimes people want them to go to something to buy. Maybe they go to a video, etc. But the point is then they get on email lists and they get emails followed up. So I did have another picture of that. I don't know if I should go back to that one. This one is a very, very direct. You opt in, then there's a sales letter to buy, and then there's a membership site. So I can go back to the email one, the email funnel. I'm not sure which funnel she wanted to look at.
Well, if she does want to see a different one, if she could just let us know in the chat,
I had a few different ones of these.
Sure. Okay.
And let me just remind people to go to websitecreationclass.com/webinars. I'm doing 2 webinars. They're going to be the same. So just pick the date and the time that will work for you. And they're later in the afternoon.
Okay, so we have a question here from, I think it's from Hillary. They say, I have an online store selling women's clothing. I'm interested in how to grow the business. Is there a course? She does have an email list and they have a brick and mortar store.
That one, is it a WordPress site? So she should say if that's a WordPress site. And Joanna, maybe you can reply to her. She's got a WordPress site already. Why don't you?
She says no.
Okay, so Shopify. Yeah, I don't teach Shopify, so I don't know if I can help you, Hillary, because I stay focused on WordPress.
Okay, but would
So
you, if
how
she
about
wants to switch to WordPress, is that something that you could help her with building
it,
a WordPress
if
site?
if she wants to switch to WordPress, but I'm not
Mhm.
sure she necessarily should. So why don't you have her reach out to support and see how we can help her
Okay, sounds
privately?
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had another question here from Robert. Do you have any recommendations for software to manage email lists and shopping cart lists?
To manage email lists. So you should definitely, I don't know if I have that. You know, that might be in my resources PDF that you're going to get. Let me go back to the email section. Hold on one second. And then why don't you read David's question, who he put it email. Let's see. I don't think I think it's in the resources. So why don't you wait for that when you get the resources PDF?
Okay, sounds great. And David was asking, should I set up a WordPress website before I take the course?
So, David, the answer is no, and you should come to my training that's going to be in a couple of weeks. So, the way I teach WordPress is I set up a practice WordPress site for you. And then I walk you through the process of building a WordPress website. You'll learn all about that in the other training coming up in a couple of weeks. So, you do not need to set up your WordPress website first. I have many people come in and they don't have their site set up. Now, if you're listening to me and you already have a WordPress site, you just leave it alone and I'll teach you how to take over it from your other web designer or webmaster. Or if you're using something like Homestead, Dennis put that in. I am familiar with it. It's going to be limited, but I have a lot of people who take my training because they want to switch out and they want to be using WordPress, which is much more flexible.
Okay, and while we're on that topic, Beverly said that she has a Dreamweaver site, but some hosting companies don't support it. Should I consider converting it to WordPress?
Beverly, yes, I used to have a Dreamweaver site. All my sites used to be Dreamweaver, and I converted to WordPress because it's much more flexible and it's easier to grow your business. So you can be in one part of the world and you can have an assistant or a colleague in another part of the world. And with WordPress, both of you can work on the site at the same time. And again, just mentioning websitecreationclass.com/webinars. And I see Joanna put that in the chat box.
Okay, so we have another question here from Willow. Willow was asking, what are some examples of a shopping cart system?
So some examples of a shopping cart system. Well, I can get out of here for a minute. Hold on, let me get out and let me bring up a browser. See if I have a browser. So let's go to, let me turn this back on. So I am using the One Shopping Cart Marketer's Choice system, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to people. Let me just back out. So I'm showing you an example. It's an older system, and if I was starting new, I probably wouldn't buy it because there's newer things out there, but because it's set up and it's working, it's working. So here is my graphics creation workshop sales page. When you click to buy, it takes you to my shopping cart setup, which is on a secure server. So this takes me to my shopping cart system. So there's lots of different ways with WordPress you can connect to a shopping cart system. You can also connect to PayPal and Stripe and others. And I don't think off the top that I have an example. Joanne, if you can think of an example to show. It would not be a plugin, Willow. It would not, it's not a plugin. So I think Willow's one of my past students. She might be. Willow, are you one of my past students? Because I have some ideas for you. Yes, and your website is wonderful. Oh, let's show her site. What is the name of her site? Willow, what was it? Not Wise-Hearted Woman. Willow, what's the name of your site?
Willow, do you see it in the chat there?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes. So Willow, since you've already been through my course, I have some other ideas for you. Joanna, maybe we can follow up with her after the call. But to show off what she did, she took the website creation workshop. Yay, Willow. This is looking nice.
Okay, so we have a
Let me
lot
get
of
back to
a lot of good questions that have come in. Ray says, I bought a WordPress site through Bluehost, but nothing is posted or published. Will your webinars be helpful for me?
Yes, definitely. So you're definitely going to want to come to one of the webinars either on January 16th or 17th. And just go to websitecreationclass.com/webinars to sign up.
Okay, and we have another question here. Will WordPress be good for an art website?
Yes, let me go to my blog. I don't know if I published that. I have a artist website. I have a blog post on artist website. I can't remember if I published it or if I was still writing it. So let me look this up. This is my blog, by the way, and I'm logged in. Here, let me get rid of that ugly toolbar. 5 great artists' websites in WordPress. So here are, and I can, who asked that question? Joanna? I'll just put it in the chat.
Sure, I think it was like Flom.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat.
Okay.
So I have many artists who've taken my class. Here's Mona, Julie, Rick, Laura, and Joan are 5 people. And so I gave the link to that. So this is my blog. I post about every week. And then there's things that are coming up like my website creation workshop. January class is going to be starting. And in a couple of weeks, I'll be doing that webinar that I talked about. All right, let's get back to where I was at.
We have a question here from Carmela. And they were asking, when we finish with your course, will we be able to confidently make our own site? And will it be started as we are in the course?
Yes. So during the website creation workshop course, you'll be building your actual site. And then afterwards, you'll be able to build other sites as well. So yes, in the beginning, I start you out with kind of some practice stuff, and then you're working on your actual site.
Okay, and Sonia was asking, can you have multiple sites?
Yes, you can build multiple sites. Absolutely. That's the whole point, is to be able to free yourself from being chained to a web designer and be able to make as many sites as you want to. I generally recommend you build one at a time.
Okay, and Victoria has a question here when you were talking about selling other people's products. She was asking, what is a good percentage to negotiate if you're selling other people's products on your website?
What does, wait, can you read that again? What ratio
what is a good
percentage?
So if you're selling someone else's product, like if you negotiate a ratio, like you know, if somebody purchases through you, you get, 10%, and they, what would be a good ratio to negotiate as far as how much you get to keep, or what commission you get for selling someone else's product?
Oh, okay. So this doesn't pertain to today's training. Oh, wait a minute. I did cover affiliate. Yeah, I didn't go too deep into it. So you're asking, that is, all right, now that I understand the question. The question is, if I have my own products and I want to have affiliates sell it for me, what percentage should I give away? And it's really, I can't answer that. Some people give away 5%, some people give away 90%.
Okay,
So
so
it's
it just kind of
all, yeah,
depends.
it's all individual.
Sure. Okay. And Willow, your student, had just mentioned great workshop, and it has changed my life. And Mary is on here, and Mary says, if I did it, anyone can. So I
Oh,
wanted to
Mary.
pass
Yeah,
those
Mary
on.
is a Reiki. I think Mary is a Reiki healer, and she
Yes.
made a site on her Reiki pillows.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary, I'm thrilled that you came. Yeah, I see a few of my students are here.
So,
Alicia's asking, let me just jump ahead to Alicia's.
sure.
Yes, you can build a site in 2 languages, Alicia, and I have training on that in the website creation workshop.
Okay, so David was asking, well, David says, I still have no idea how to do this. I'll be able to do my own site. So can you kind of clarify what today's training is versus what your courses and the other webinars that we'll be having?
Yes, so today's training was a big picture overview on the simple truth about succeeding online, kind of all the parts that you need. And what I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks is I'm going to be diving more into the website and the WordPress part of it and talking more in detail about what you're going to get in if you decide to join me in the winter website creation workshop. So you'll definitely want to go ahead and sign up for that now while you're thinking about it. Pick the day you want. They'll be exactly the same thing. Obviously, there'll be different questions when we get to the question and answer part, but sign up for that because I'll talk more about WordPress.
Okay, and another of your former students is on here, Donna, and she put in a comment on Christina's website creation workshop. There was a remarkably vast amount of information given over the course of training. The most valuable thing was how Christina taught us to shift our thinking so we could effectively problem solve. As recent as last week, I walked myself through the process when I got stuck in my WordPress site and was able to find my own solution. Christina doesn't just tell, she shows, and that is the sign of a truly gifted teacher. So grateful to you.
Donna, thank you so much for saying that. Yes, a big part of the website creation workshop is helping non-techie people walk through the way to think and to solve a problem, because you want to be able to empower yourself and say, hey, I'm having a problem, I don't know the answer. So what is the steps I should go through to find my answer? And Donna, thank you for reflecting back that you did that you got stuck and you were able to find your solution. So my goal is to empower people to be able to find their solutions. So not only do you learn how to build a website, but you learn a lot of these other, how to work with tech people and sort of the thought process.
Okay, so I know during your presentation today, you talked about email marketing and you know how the autoresponders work in connection with everything. And Evelyn was asking if you cover anywhere on what content you actually put in your email autoresponder letters. She understands the concept of how it works, but she's not sure what to write in those emails.
Great question. So in the website creation workshop, I do have a section, a whole training on email marketing. But what I would do if I were you is think about the emails you get from other people and what kind of content they have. So let me find that slide. Get back to the email marketing. Hold on. Where I talked about the goodie. So there's 2 parts. I covered this. Is what format is your goodie in? This is what they're opting in for. And so that's the thing they're opting in for. But when you are mailing them, you want to mail about your area of expertise and the things they're interested in. So just think about in your market, what are people interested in? So like essential oils, like I don't sell essential oils, but I love essential oils. So you might write an article on what are essential oils, you might write an article on why your company's essential oils are better than others. You might want to write an article on, why you should never buy essential oils off of Amazon. So just brainstorm what kinds of things your market might be interested in. And if you've got clients or customers you're working with, just ask them, hey, what would you be interested in? Great question.
Okay. Alicia had a question about your course, and she was asking how long does it take to do the course, and will we be able to start working after? So I guess it's more of a question about how your course works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping she can come because I have a whole presentation set up just about the course. And that is, I'll be talking about it on the webinar in a couple of weeks. But to answer her question briefly, it's an 8-week training. So there's 8 weeks of live calls, 8-week training, and then you get to, that's for the live portion, then you keep going after that. But you should come to, I've got slides and pictures. You don't see my hands, but my hands are like waving around the room. I like to teach with pictures, so I'm hoping you can come to that. But more info will come out about the website creation workshop class. And we're having a free webinar on January 16th, and that is the same day that the course is open for registration.
Okay, sounds good. Now, Colby was asking, why is WordPress preferential versus others? Is that something you'll be covering more in detail on your next webinars?
Yes. Okay. So go ahead and sign up for that. You can sign up for that now. And if you need to switch days, it's no big deal. You just sign up again. But yeah, I'm going to be going into why WordPress is better than other systems.
Okay. And Beverly was asking, which type of WordPress do you recommend? Regular WordPress or WordPress.org?
They're both regular WordPress. One is self-hosted and one is hosted by WordPress.com. So they're from the same company, slightly different, and I'll talk more about that, Beverly. So I'm hoping you can come to this.
Okay. Now we have a question from Greg. Greg is thinking about doing downloadable classes, and he was wondering where you would suggest you store the videos on YouTube, or is there a software program, or is it available on WordPress?
There's lots of different ways to do downloadable classes, Greg, and we don't really have the time and space to cover that here. So, some people use YouTube, some people use lots of other systems. So that's more kind of going into details on building a membership site. And we're not covering that today.
Okay. Now Summer was asking, do you have a program for incorporating WordPress membership? She heard it was complicated from other business owners.
I am putting together a training specifically on that. That's something I can address in the website creation workshop. So, but that's pretty individual.
Okay,
so I don't think I can say too much more about that.
Sure. So Carmela was asking, what is the purpose of building multiple websites? For selling different products or for our goodie content?
Okay, great question. So let me just get out of, hold on, let me get out of PowerPoint and let me I'll go to my home page and I'll go to, so the question is, what is the point of having different websites? So I have the website creation workshop.com. So that's the website for my program. And I also have ChristinaHills.com. This is more of a portal site. And then I have the graphics creation workshop. So this is a different product. Let me zoom in. So this is a different product, and when you come here, there's a link to get to the page to purchase the graphics creation workshop. So why do you have multiple sites? It's sort of, do you want to have different branding? Do you want to send traffic to different places? I mostly do most of my activity. I have free webinars. Here's a link for the free webinar. That's for today's Simple Truth. And then I have all my blog activity over here. And some people don't come to my blog because they get all my blog content through my email. So the question is, should you have multiple websites or not? That's really kind of up to you. So at ChristinaHills.com, it's kind of an umbrella for the different programs that I have. So the website transformation workshop, that is a program for people who already have a WordPress site or who have already been through the website creation workshop. So Joanna, hopefully I'm answering her question. Is you don't have to have multiple websites. It's kind of what is it that you want to do?
Okay, sounds good. She says yes, thank you. So Gert was asking, I've heard that WordPress is great as long as you don't use plugins. Can you say anything about this, please?
That is not true. Plugins are fantastic, Gert. So I do recommend plugins. You shouldn't have too many plugins, though. So why don't you, Gert, come to the, let me get that link up here, websitecreationclass.com, webinars. Just bring this up. So you come here, and then you can click on if you want to come January 16th or if you want to come January 17th. They will be the same.
Okay. Now Mark was asking, what software do you use to create a sales funnel? I know you talked a little bit about sales funnels during the presentation.
I use WordPress as my web pages for my funnels. So yes, so I use a combination of Aweber as my email list, and I use WordPress. And do know that I am going to send out that PDF resource. So watch for that. Joanne, I think we have that in the replay email. Don't we have that set up?
Yes, yeah. We'll definitely send that out in the email. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. These are great questions, by the way.
So this one you didn't really touch on too much, but Jay was asking about getting your contacts from social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and then I guess importing them into an email marketing system. Is that a good idea to do?
Let me get to that slide. Where's my social media slide? So you're saying you're saying importing automatically from social media into your website? Is that what he's asking?
I think they were asking more like getting their contacts from social media into your email list.
Ah, okay. To me, that is a huge no-no. For some reason, people on LinkedIn think that they can automatically add me to their newsletter list. You can get yourself in trouble doing that. I do not recommend doing that. When somebody opts in, they're giving you permission. So, for example, here, when you come to opt in, you're giving permission. If you connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn, I have not given you permission to email. I don't know what guru is teaching that, but that's totally wrong. I do not recommend that at all. Don't do it. You'll get in trouble.
Okay. They were also asking, is PayPal or Stripe a WordPress.org plugin?
Great question. Let me go back to my selling diagram. Hold on, let me find my selling diagram. And just, Joanna, how long had we contracted this for? Is it 75 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we're almost out of time.
Right. Okay, well, we're having some good questions, so I can take a few more questions. So let me answer this. So when someone comes to your site, right, I recommend it be a WordPress site. When they click to buy, there's many different ways that you can buy. You just want to make sure it's secure. And then afterwards, they get to a post-purchase thank you page. The payment gateway is a separate system. So WordPress doesn't take the money. It connects with your merchant account or your PayPal or your Stripe. So you want to think of that as a separate entity. So here's my list. So you need a website, a product or program, a payment processor. So that's a separate thing from your website. A shopping cart system. Now, if you're using PayPal, PayPal's sort of a shopping cart system, but this can be separate or can be the same. But think of those two together. And then an email system, some companies like Infusionsoft bundle a lot of stuff together, but they're super expensive. And then Fulfillment House if you have physical products or a method to deliver. So you want to think of them as a separate thing.
Okay, sounds great. Candy was asking, I provide custom sewing and embroidery. Would you recommend that I need a separate web page for each service with a separate selling process?
Okay, custom sewing and embroidery. Read it again.
Sure. So Candy says, I provide custom sewing and embroidery. Do I need a separate web page for each service with a separate selling process?
Okay, so that is something like we don't have the time on today's call to dig into each person's specific situation. That's something I do get into in the course. But do you need a different page or a different product for each service? The answer is it all depends. It could be the same site, it could be different sites. That's the benefit of the website creation workshop is I help you lay it out in your practice student project, and then you can kind of figure out how you want to go. So if it makes sense to have your embroidery and your services together, if that makes sense, then do it that way. So she sells products and she does embroidery services for others. I think that's what she has.
She just said custom sewing and embroidery.
Yeah, to me, without knowing anything else, Candy, I think I would have it as one site.
Okay. Yeah, she says that's correct. Okay, sounds great.
And I just want to make a comment. I know there's some people here who are students in the website creation workshop. If you want to take it again, we do have a discount for people who want to go through the course again as a retake student. So you can just email me or my support team to get info on that.
Okay, sounds great. So Christine, I know we are a little bit past the 75-minute mark, and I know we do like to be respectful of folks' time. Do you want to keep going with some more questions, or
why don't we say I'll take 3 more questions, and then let me see if I have a poll too. I might want to let's see. Yeah, I'll take my Goldilocks poll at the end, but let's take 3. We'll take 3 more questions.
Okay, and we do have several students that are on the call that are asking questions as well. But we had a question from Jim, and he was asking, as far as email marketing, is there a way to automate content selection for emails?
Automate content selection for emails. Yes, I mean, that would be setting up an automated autoresponder. Let me go back to that slide. So you would set it up ahead of time. I have my specific email marketing slide here. So you would set up in your email system a series that when people opt in, they could get that series and it would go in order. Some email marketing systems let you get a little fancy, meaning if they click and take an action, then they might get different things in the series. But this is a typical traditional email marketing system. You would write those emails ahead of time.
Okay, sounds good. We had a question here from Jay. They were asking what you think of Hero Inc. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. They say templates are great for videos, pictures, look like professional design. Have you ever heard of that before?
I have not heard of that, and
Okay.
I think we should stick with content that I covered.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, so.
And let me make one more comment while you're looking for, the last question. Do we have two more, I think?
I think it's just one more.
One more. Okay. So I have one more question. So while you're figuring out which of the last questions you should ask, I want to remind people I will send out a replay with a resource guide. So definitely look for that. The replay will either go out for today's call, either tonight or tomorrow morning. So if you missed any part of this webinar, you want to review it again, you will get an email with that. And also, just to remind people, I've got another training. If you liked this one, the next one, the Easily Create a Beautiful Website in WordPress, even if you hate technology, is going to go deeper, more into WordPress and why I use WordPress and the difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org and all things about WordPress. So, and I'll go more into depth about what is included in the website creation workshop. So you'll definitely want to sign up for that. Okay, Joanna, last question. And thank you, everybody. We've gone over just a little bit, but I know some people have appointments at the bottom of the hour, so I do want to respect that.
Okay, so we have a question here from Michelle. Michelle has a WordPress site and she's using the Divi plugin and she bought MemberPress and she's overwhelmed with how to set up selling her digital downloads and was asking if that's easy to figure out. And I didn't know if you had maybe, I believe you mentioned the website transformation workshop, if you think that would be something that would be helpful for her.
Yeah.
Or how you could direct her.
Yeah, if you already have a WordPress site and you know how to use it and you know the basics and the foundations and you want to go deeper, go to websitetransformationworkshop.com and opt in. And you can also send me an email and I'll take a look at your specific needs. All right, so
okay, sounds great.
I think, oh, let me take my Goldilocks poll. And I know some people were on this call who've already been to this before, or they already went through the website creation workshop. So how fast versus slow was today's webinar? It was too slow for me, or the pacing was just right. I was able to follow along nicely, or I followed you, but I'm not sure I understood everything, or it was too fast for me. And so you just click on the screen. And this is a poll I like to take at pretty much at the end of all my classes because I like to get an idea of where people were. So we are going to be wrapping this up. So I think I'll close this poll a little bit earlier. So I'll close the poll and share the results. So most of you said the pacing was just right. Some of you followed but weren't sure you understood everything. That replay will come in handy. And for those of you who it was too slow, bravo, you're probably my past students who've been through the website creation workshop and you have learned well. All right, so I'm just going to remind you, and Joanna, I think we'll put this link in the replay to sign up for the next training in a couple of weeks. Is that right?
Yes, sounds good. We'll get that in there.
All right, and then remember, in the 2 weeks, registration will open for the Winter Website Creation Workshop, and watch for the PDF resource guide that will come in your email. You'll want to download that. This is the accompanying PDF that goes along with today's call. So that's it for me, Christina Hills, on the simple truth about succeeding online. Thank you to Joanna and everybody else on my team, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.